Either counsel have any comment loosely on the case or anything at this point?
None.
No.
Okay, so the lawyers are not going to talk about it, but guess who else isn't going to talk about it? Well, at least not in person. The plaintiff. As it turns out, Gianasmidis is in the hospital under physician's orders not to engage in overly stressful activity, and believe me, this is overly stressful activity. It's a very intriguing case because these are old world people. These are Greek people, and the patriarch of the family had certain trusts that he had established for the benefit of himself and others. There are allegations that money was taken out of these trusts and that people that were supposed to get properties did not get them. There's, I believe, $127,000 or $147,000 is missing from a hole in the ground back in the motherland that was allegedly booted by the daughter. So we just finished plaintiff's case today, and this gentleman here, Father George Dragas, testified that it was the matriarch's belief of Vasilios. It was his belief he was being taken for a ride and abandoned by the daughter. And this is his daughter-in-law, Stephanie Gianasmidis, testifying about some notes that she is verifying for the record, indicating the same thing. And we'll continue this next week or later on this week with the defense case. And I also have more video from today as well, including the video deposition of Father Dragas and the sidebar, the counsel argument about the inavailability of the plaintiff.
Some respects or some aspects, we've got to deal with the situation as it presents itself to us, and I appreciate it. It's highly suspect that Mr. Gianasmidis has shown up to every deposition in this matter. He's shown up to all the depositions. He's shown up to all the interim court hearings that is not associated with this and that, not missing. And he's here throughout the course of the trial, from the openings. I believe that he was here in some pretrial hearings, not all of them. I'll represent that to you. And that he's here from the opening of this trial. And that as the day approaches, where he could be, or it is thought that he would be testifying, that he's now unavailable. But I understand what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with the doctor's representation that Mr. Gianasmidis should refrain from stressful situations, including appearances in court. It says until, as you have before you also run, until the beginning of next week, June 20th. Now, being fully aware of your marching orders here, one initial response was, do we entertain a continuance? And in light of what your position has been, I know what the answer is. I would respectfully suggest I know what the answer is going to be without being presumptuous.
Yeah, but don't, one specialist, I think I also said to the court, until all of you, that it's not as if absolutely totally unavailable. So what do you suggest?
They can prove the jury to find out they're available on Monday. See, I've never had a situation like this arise, Your Honor. I can tell you that it's the first that's ever happened to me. That a plaintiff hasn't shown up to this trial for a very trial.
Mr. Kuzma, you're standing.
No, I wasn't sure. No, go ahead, please.
Well, now what to say, Judge, is I wish he was here. I wish he was here from my perspective. I mean, I don't think we benefit, the plaintiff doesn't benefit in their case by not having Mr. Gianasmidis here. He gave 4 depositions in this case. He has a lot to say. I wish I had a live witness to put on there. Last week, when he was in back of the courtroom with his wife, he was breaking out in cold sweats. I noticed that, and he was sweating profusely. I wish I had a live witness to present my case on his behalf, Your Honor. I don't. And as much as counsel may want him to for cross-examination purposes, unfortunately, this is something beyond our control. I can tell you this, I mean, I just took a quick look at the note, and it says that he needs to avoid stressful situations until the 20th. I would represent to the court that, having gone through this personally for my own well-being on another trial, I'm not going to put him on, Judge. I'm not going to call him, given the fact that he's been in the hospital now 3 days of the last 3 days, and I'm just not going to put him in that situation. So I hope that we don't have to continue.
I'm not going to continue the trial, and it's not just because that I'm on this special assignment, although that is something which I'm obligated to do by order of the Chief Justice. We're dealing with a situation here, and Mr. Birmingham, it's the first time it's happened to me as well. First time it's happened to me as well, but that the court does not believe that there's any bad faith that's involved here, and the letter from the physician from Brigham and Women's Hospital is marked D for defecation. It's explicit, saying that Mr. Gianasmidis should, quoting here, should refrain from stressful situations, including appearances in court or any other work-related activity to the next week of June 20th. Today is June 15th. In the midst of the trial, it's the conclusion of the plaintiff's case that I'm going to find that he is unavailable on account of his medical condition, details of which the court is not aware of, and there's no question that he is unavailable. So, with regard to deposition testimony, he's had 4 days of deposition. What do you intend to put in?
If he's getting out today, I would want him to come in tomorrow if he can. So I don't want, and if he comes in tomorrow and they want to call him as part of their defense, that's up to them. But, from my perspective, I would want Mr. Gianasmidis back in the courtroom. And if they want to call him, then that's up to them.
Okay, well, let's deal with today. You have 5 excerpts. Those excerpts have been disclosed to counsel for the defendants. Mr. Birmingham and Mr. Smith, do you have evidentiary issues with the excerpts?
No, Your Honor. The only thing that I would add is, and Mr. Kuzma did give us sections of it, is Mr. Kuzma and Attorney Kuzma and Attorney Mitchell, if you would include on page 69 the section after line 3 through 13 for completeness. What was referenced is page 68, Your Honor. A question and answer going up to line 3, then a skip.
What would you like?
Line 4 through 13.
Anything else? Any other objections? Or any other?
No, I have Attorney Kuzma, on page 70, if you could add line 9 and 11 for completeness. Yes, that's page 70, right, like 9 to 11.
And what about affirmatively? You wish
Affirmatively, Your Honor, our position would be, what we'd like to do is have Fatima testify, a witness, and then we may read, depending on, we don't know if Mr. Gianasmidis is going to come tomorrow. So if he comes tomorrow, we'd like to be able to put him on the stand if there's time. If not, then we're going to read, if he's unavailable, as I read the rule, Your Honor, we can read in a portion of the deposition as part of our case.
So you prefer to do that rather than to today ask that additional portions of the deposition be read?
Yes, Your Honor. If he was available and healthy, and he's not at this point, and so we have to wait for the representations of counsel, Mr. Attorney Kuzma or Attorney Minchuk, who's going to say Attorney Smith and Birmingham. They'll tell us tomorrow, I'm sure.
Okay. All right. Let's. Other issues with regard to
Just, Your Honor, in reference to what counsel just said, if he's here, I mean, he's got a doctor's note that he shouldn't be put in a stressful situation. So I do have an issue with that, but if they want to call him, or maybe that's something we
Well,
want
I'll
to
have
discuss.
to, I'll have to address this, at that time, but I think it would be a very complex issue. I use that phrase advisedly. If Mr. Gianasmidis, established Gianasmidis, appeared tomorrow, raises obviously nothing.
Judge, it may be something that maybe after today, I can discuss that with counsel and we can see what our final positions are.
I don't know what I have no additional information that is not disclosed in the record. Nothing about this condition other than what I read in Exhibit D of the application. All right, let's move on to the other matter. These documents you were seeking to get these in?
Yes.
What's the defendant's position? Because I don't want to excuse the jury again.
I believe that one of them is a mortgage, is that correct?
No, I'm on the handwritten. I'm on these.
These two?
You want to, yes.
All right, I did get these, I never got the translation. What are these?
They were handwritten letters by the Celios, Your Honor. Actually, not original, attached translations like it happens out in letters.
Right.
And-
When were they, let's go one at a time. Let's take the short one. It looks like an index card.
Yes.
What is this?
The Celios was writing notes, Your Honor, throughout the summer of 2007, was documenting things that had occurred, and
So this was generated in the summer of 2007.
it's my understanding that it was generated in the summer of 2007, Your Honor. And they were
How do you
produced,
establish that?
that they were generated in the summer of 2007. Well, I don't think I need to establish that. I think I just need to establish that it's,
Try my question.
okay. I think I can ask Ms. Gianasmidis if she had an opportunity to observe her father-in-law writing notes on various pages, and if she recognizes these notes, when she had the opportunity to observe them write. And the letter itself, Your Honor, or the notes themselves actually go through to 2006 and I think 2007 on the other side. So they go to the time period, so they're kind of self-explanatory as to how long of a period they relate to.
Sure, this time there's going to be, resuming with the evidence, just to inform you that established Gianasmidis, the plaintiff, may have done so the last couple of days, has not been here. He is unavailable to testify because of a medical condition. As a result of that, for the same reasons that Rodriguez's testimony via deposition is allowed to come before you, there will be, as I understand it from speaking with counsel, portions of Sabras's Gianasmidis deposition will be read in by counsel.
I'm going to be reading from the deposition of Gianasmidis, which was taken on